And welcome to Eastern High School, ladies and gentlemen. Rob Strauss, Tad Kozaneski, and John Hallwood, soon to be joined by Kevin Schulz as we bring you the quarterfinal round of the Coaches Tournament here. Glad you joined us here on Channel 19. It's just an absolutely beautiful day here. You can hear the wind in the background, and it's going to be a very, very windy day. Wind coming from behind us, going across the field towards the benches as we get ready for the second round action of the 2021 Coaches Tournament, Ted. And we got a chance to walk around this facility. You're very familiar with this facility, and there's turf everywhere here.
Yeah, you're pretty fortunate that it is a soccer-only field. In the spring, they'll play lacrosse here, but soccer-only right now. One of the premier soccer fields in South Jersey, and seeing if the Sterling Lady Knights can continue on with making history, Rob.
And if you are unfamiliar with the tournament, it's the top 16 teams in all of South Jersey as voted on. And Sterling defeated Williamstown on Saturday 4-1. And Eastern defeated Middle Township, the number 16 seed. And Eastern is the number 1 seed in this entire tournament. They defeated them 5-1. So a lot of scoring in both of those first-round matchups. And the winner of this game will face either Shawnee or Bishop Eustis, which is going on right now. And we'll see if we can provide some updates for you from that game. That is a 5-13 matchup. So Bishop Eustis upset the number 4 seed Cherokee in that top half of the bracket.
And you're looking at an Eastern Regional team, Rob, that has had a lot of recent success. They were state champs in 2005, 2006, 2018, and I believe they've won 14 titles since 1990.
14 Olympic Conference champions, 4-time Coaches Tournament champs, and again, as you mentioned, 3-time state champs, and the earliest was back just 3 years ago, back in 2018. So it's going to be very, very definitely home field advantage for Eastern here playing on the turf. We saw the girls getting used to the bounces, and Alexis Hatfield getting some warm-ups in from Coach K, and it's going to take some weird bounces. Tad, you could talk about that a little bit from the baseball standpoint.
Well, again, you do get some strange bounces, but the girls have played at Audubon, which has turf, and they've played at Haddon Township, which has turf. So it's not like this is a first-time experience. You just got to be able to judge your passes knowing that the ball is going to take off. The wind, I think, is the other thing, Rob. The wind is blowing right now from our back across the field. So any centering pass from our side of the field to the net is going to have a little carry to it.
Yeah, if you notice on the near side corner flag, we noticed this as soon as we were done setting up here. Not a lot of room on that near side corner flag, but everywhere else, all the other corner flags, you have plenty of room to get back, get after that corner kick. But just not a lot of extra room here on that near side, so we'll see if that comes into play. But some netting around, that'll keep the balls in play. Won't have to worry about chasing them down if they go over the net like we do over at Sterling.
So, Rob, why don't you give us some numbers so we can look at what Eastern's up against, their featured player. We talked about how well as a team they've won, but they've got some decent players and some decent numbers.
Well, you're looking at Cami Silvestro coming in, leading the way. She's a senior forward. 12 goals, 8 assists for 32 points, as well as Jolie Bernaccio, the junior forward, 9 goals, 6 assists, and Carly Schulman, 8 goals, 3 assists. So keep an eye on those players for Eastern. And for Sterling, I mean, obviously, they spread the scoring out quite a bit. Bridget Dixon, 7 goals. Layla Solomon, 7 goals. She had a goal in the last game. Faith Dixon has scored a lot of really big goals, John. She has 5 on the season. Jordan Baker and Lily Burt, who's back in the lineup today, 6 apiece.
They really have, and again, Solomon with the speed and Bridget Dixon also with the speed, the two main strikers that we saw in the last game against Williamstown. And just to let's not also forget the big assister right here, Ireland Kay, with 11 assists. So she's able to pass the ball around and able to give those strikers some opportunities.
Also, only a freshman, Ireland Kay, daughter of head coach Jimmy Kay.
I'll tell you what, I didn't tell this story before, Rob. She is the same age as my youngest son at Sterling. And about 5 years ago, we had a baseball tournament game, and we needed another player. We went, and I asked for Ireland. We couldn't get anybody. I got Ireland. I wanted her. She hit a double, knocked in 2 runs in the baseball game to help us win. So she's a real, real good athlete. We'll be talking about her for the next 3 years.
Goaltender for today for Sterling, it's going to be Lexi Hatfield, the senior, 98 saves on the season in 18 games played. This will be her 18th game here this afternoon. And the boys' game will take place tonight. They are going to be battling a lot of different elements. They're going to be playing on turf as well at St. Augustine.
Yeah, St. Augustine.
St. Augustine.
They'll be down there again with the weather. The reason we chose this game, in case people were wondering, this is just a little bit closer. St. Augustine is in the Buna area. It's about 45 minutes away from us.
And that one could be a damp evening. I know they are calling for some weather to come in a little bit later on this evening. We're hoping that holds off.
And then our staff for Eastern and their goalie, we'll get to her in a second.
Looks like Alex Clark is going to be in goal. The senior is joined in the broadcast right now by Mr. Schulz. Join us. Welcome.
I am impressed with this field and this facility. Now I just have to make this step up here without getting tangled in the wires
Atta guy.
and falling. But John would save me, right, John?
Yes, I would. I'm pretty sure Strauss would help me too.
It's a team
He'd
effort
probably
here.
be going down too. He'd be tangled up in the wires too.
Sterling will get the first ball, and we are underway here from Eastern in the quarterfinal round of the Coaches Cup tournament.
Nice level turf field. You get all true hops.
Far side, a little shove in the back. That's from Bridget Dixon. No whistle, but it goes out of play. Will be an Eastern throw. Or Eastern, they call it?
They did call it there.
Yep, missed the whistle.
I'm sure you guys have talked about, obviously, the big win the other day against Williamstown, getting down by 1 and coming back. And these girls have to feel pretty confident after an effort like that.
Sheehan gives it away. Looking for the far side. That's Silvestro. Right in the middle of the field. Keep an eye on 19 in blue. Sterling wearing their away whites with the blue numbers. Eastern with the royal black. I guess that's more of a navy blue than anything else, and a maroon numbers. Makes it difficult to see as broadcasters, but we'll do our best.
I was about to say, they love to make it challenging, some of these teams.
Very easy. Anybody would do it, John.
That is true.
Solomon over her head.
Well, the standard for bad numbers on uniforms is Woodbury. I
Oh,
don't think
no doubt.
anything will ever. Your eyes hurt after doing that game.
The white jerseys with yellow numbers and no outlying stroke behind it is kind of difficult. Controlling now is Eastern. Shot from distance, well over the cage and out of play by Silvestro. And out of play. You can hear the wind, Kevin. This is going to play a huge factor in this game. If you're just joining us, going from the near side of the field to the far side of the field. It's going to be windy for a few days here.
No doubt. I know we're going to get some potentially rough weather over the next 24 hours, but obviously right now, other than the wind, it's pretty good weather.
Not bad for if you had told me on October 25th that it would be in the mid-70s doing a soccer broadcast in potentially shorts and a T-shirt. I would have taken that all day.
I think you would also think that they were crazy, too.
Silvestro tries to cross, blocked in the middle by Wilsey, but still controlled by Eastern. Solomon giving chase. And Eastern backs it up, and now they send it right back in. Looking in the middle there. Good job by Kaylee Sheehan to knock it away. And ball still pinballing around in the middle of the field. And now Eastern still controlling early on here. Emerson. Silvestro. Looking near side. Schulman. In the corner, working one-on-one with Aaron Quinn.
Seems like they're really maintaining attack time through good passing and just patience.
Crossed across the 18 box. Faith Dixon, or excuse me, Bridget Dixon. Off of her, out of play. Just about 4 minutes into this first half. Still no score here from Eastern in the quarterfinal round. Weak shot, diving save. I think it was going to go wide anyway by Hatfield. And it's our first real touch of the game at the 4-minute mark. Sterling on the attack. Ireland Kay, and just a wall of blue there, Kevin, on that back line for Eastern.
Now, this is a team that's had a real good program for a long time. Great tradition here. Typically one of the top teams in South Jersey in girls soccer.
Not to mention field hockey as well.
Yeah, oh yeah, well that's a program that's nationally renowned.
Don't know if you noticed the banners on the way in of the field hockey squad. Take a look at some of those championship banners. And there's your state championship. You can see it right there. A couple other years in there, as well as 05, 06, back-to-back state champs. There's our conference championships. A really, really impressive program here, Kevin, for the Eastern Vikings.
Yeah, and they always, people say who, when we do some field hockey games, they just say, even if you're a novice at watching the sport, don't know a whole lot about the rules, it's the people who've come and seen Eastern play, they said it's very entertaining with the way they move the ball up and distribute it. The passing is just on another level, and the speed.
Football team, and talking to their AD on the way in here, their football team doing pretty well, waiting to see who they play for their next game. They are 4-4 on the season.
And they play a tough schedule. That's that Group 4 schedule where they play the likes of Cherokee, Washington Township.
And don't let 4-4 fool you. But back here on the pitch, this Eastern girls team coming in 16-1-1. Their only loss was a 2-1 decision to Cherokee.
And I hear a lot of good things about that Cherokee program there.
Offside call here as Emerson was offside.
Again, I hear a lot of good things from that Cherokee program. They're a really tough team. Boys and girls soccer is just unbelievable over there.
It's a big school, so they have a lot of talent to pull from over there in Marlton. And quite the facility and tradition in football as well. Just a really, really cool atmosphere to go watch a high school football game. Aaron Quinn runs out of real estate on the near side. Throw in for Eastern. They're quick to the ball. One-on-one as Sheehan is there, heads it forward.
And a great job right there from Eastern, able to do a quick restart and throw it in quick. Sterling's defense a little bit thin right there.
Brancaccio. 7 minutes into a scoreless first half. Glad you joined us here on Channel 19. Rob Strauss, Kevin Schulz, John Hallwood. Tad Kozaneski has relinquished the microphone duties to work on camera for right now.
And the other thing you think, when I look at this Eastern team, again, you see a lot of patience, but as you see a shot floating up there right now, and is that they wait for the play to develop ahead of them. If a girl has the ball, she doesn't just blindly kick it ahead. It has a purpose, and usually they're waiting for things to develop away from the ball.
Aaron Quinn off the head of Jordan Baker, just errant off the back of her head, tried to flick it forward for Solomon. Pretty quiet from both the benches early on.
Maybe some nerves playing into this game. It's a very big game as it is. You're playing against the #1 seeded team in this tournament. Not to mention, this is your second now. As it is, you're already breaking a school record right here.
Well, if nothing else, this will get a nice tune-up for the ladies as they prepare for the South Jersey Group 2 playoffs. They will be a top seed in that tournament. I don't think the brackets have come out yet, to our knowledge, but they will, as well as the boys, be a top seed.
I believe the boys and the girls are the #2 seeds. I think even with with Sterling beating Williamstown, they were still unable to get that first seed, and so was Sterling. I mean, the boys' team too.
Boys most likely will, if they hold that number 2 spot, will be just one behind Delran, the perennial Group 2 powerhouse that we've run into several times, Kevin, unfortunately.
Yeah, they are just an outstanding team, and we were saying the other day that with Delran, a lot of times they'll play in some regional tournaments, national tournaments, and some years you'll see them come in with maybe 4, 5 losses, but they're against some of the top teams in the country. It's just it just tells you all you need to know about the level of that program.
So the speed of the turf right there. Solomon's really fast, but the difference between playing on Sterling's field, as Eastern makes some substitutions, and playing on a turf field, Solomon may have tracked that one down, Schulze, but not on this turf. Just roll for days.
It definitely changes a lot of things. You got to watch for the bounces if you're a goalie. You definitely have to be well aware of the surface. And the good thing is, I mean, even though Sterling is, we have the grass. These girls between, when you play Haddon Township, Haddonfield, when they play on a football field, and a lot of their club teams play on the turf.
Good triangle from here between Aaron Quinn, Ireland Kay, and Jordan Baker had the triangle going really, really well. They lost possession, but a really nice possession there by Sterling.
And a good job by Sterling getting it to the other half. Obviously, most of this game thus far has been Eastern on the Sterling half of the field, but even though they had it on the Sterling half of the field, Rob and John, they haven't gotten deep with any quality opportunities. And give credit to Sterling defensively for having a good sense of how to play this offensive attack from Eastern so far.
It's our first real offensive possession here. Palladino ahead for Dixon. And Sterling gets our first corner of the game. 29 minutes remaining here in the scoreless first.
And this is what you can hope for. I mean, if you're the team that's not getting all the attack time, do what you need to do to clamp down on the other team's offense, and then now all of a sudden you get a potential opportunity here with corner.
You have to unload on this one, kicking into the wind. You're going to see this ball die. Beautiful job by Sterling to get that inside the 18, but Alex Clark, the goalkeeper for the Vikings, just leaps up and grabs it. And here comes the transition. Defense to offense.
Big counterattack right here for Eastern as that ball goes out.
Eustace. Back for Jerkis. Jerkis sends it over the goal line and then out of play. 28-10 remaining here in the first.
Good job by Aaron Quinn, not allowing Eastern to get around the corner right there.
And she's done a good job staying goal side of her player, not letting her getting around her that easily, and just want to see that's what you want to see out of a defender.
Eustace working against Baker, now comes near side. Benfield loses it momentarily onto the foot of Eustace. Looking for Solomon, needs a touch. No call there. Solomon now one-on-one. 2 players go down. Ball goes out of play, and it will be a Sterling throw.
Good job by Solomon, just kind of powering her way through there.
Baker with the throw-in, looking for Solomon, and there's that roll that we were talking about, and Solomon just couldn't track it down in enough time, and it will be a goal kick for the Vikings.
And Rob, I know you had kind of mentioned it, but this is such a great tune-up just to get yourself ready for the playoffs. We always talk about putting yourself against good competition late in the year is going to help your team peak at the right time when you hit the Group 2 playoffs.
Sheehan loses control, centering pass, shot, and a goal. Sheehan mishandled it, and it turned into disaster for Sterling early on. 26-30, Eastern leads 1-0.
Well, prior to that point, Eastern really hadn't even gotten past the 18, but got to the outside, And you can see they did a good job having their forwards crash the net. And they're able to bury that one for the 1-0 lead.
Zero in on our goal scorer there. One nothing Eastern. And Eastern looking for more.
That's going to be a goal kick and gets the ball first.
The numbers on the back of Eastern's jerseys make it very difficult to see who actually got that goal. I want to say it was 24. Well, we'll let you know. Either way, it's 1-0 Eastern. Early on here, about 25.5 minutes remaining here in the first. If it is 24 for Eastern, it's the freshman Katarina Kokolis with the goal.
Okay.
That is her 4th goal of the season.
But you could see, again, we talked about how patient Eastern was, just moving the ball around, didn't get inside the 18, but once they were able to get it there, they knew what to do.
Believe it was Kokolis on the goal now that we can kind of see the numbers. Sending our sideline reporter, John Hallwood, not to be confused with Wiggles,
AKA
Wiggles. And we have confirmation. Katarina Kokolis with her 4th of the season. Shot from distance, just off the hand, I believe, of Lexus Hatfield. She did get the left hand on it, and it forces a corner.
Kind of got the left hand on a short hop, but was able to have the ball go wide as you look at Eastern getting another opportunity here. I believe this is their first corner.
It is their first corner, that is correct. One for each team now. Low line drive. Baker corrals it. Back over to Silvestro. Far side. Hatfield leaps up and rips it away. And the defense for Sterling will clear out.
Yeah, that's the key word there, how Strong defended that, Rob, because they really had a lot of people in the middle, and Eastern, the Eastern forward just couldn't find their way to that good spot on the field to do something with that pass.
Jordan Baker, a nice move to get around a defender. Looking across the middle, but right there was Alex Clark to scoop it up.
Not a bad idea right there. Not a bad idea right there. You could try to get a cross in, maybe even see if the goalkeeper even goes out for that one, but Alex Clark goes for it, and just a little too far out for Bridget Dixon.
Yeah, it was a little far. You can see the other thing that you saw Bridget Dixon going on that far side, but Eastern does a nice job at not giving you can see, not giving clean passing lanes. And we really had a good view of that pass by Jordan Baker. But a good job by her, just getting it in there. You never know what can happen.
Hatfield's been busy in the opening 20 minutes. 22:30 remaining here in a 1-0 game. Goal by Katarina Kokolis, her 4th of the season. Again, the winner of this game will play either Seneca or Bishop Eustace in the next round.
And the boys, of course, down at St. Augustine tonight.
Which
Is
we
it
went-
Augustine or Augustine? Augustine. Okay, I did get it right.
always go with your first instinct.
You're right. I should have said anything. Forget I just said anything those last 10 seconds.
Wiped from our memories, even for the viewers.
Right in the middle. And again, Hatfield has had to be sharp to start off this game. She's allowed one, but she's been busy.
And then that was a good, the save looked easy, but I think it was easy because she read in front of her what was going on and just put herself in real good position.
Kay to Baker. Baker going east-west, now tries to go north-south. Tries to find Palladino. 2 Vikings there, and Palladino still comes away with it. They say advantage. Looking for Dixon. Dixon looking for help. Goes to the far side for Kate McVeigh. And it will be a Sterling throw.
Right now, Sterling looking to maybe get something going here on offense, and Tori Wilsey can get you a nice throw in right in the middle.
Turnaround shot, and it just goes wide. What an opportunity there for Jordan Baker.
Boy, that's a great shot. I mean, she kind of was going against her body, and I think that's the right idea. You get something in close, boy, you just fire away at the net.
Halfway through this first half, Rob Strauss, Kevin Schulz, John Hallwood, Tad Kozaneski. Second round coverage of the Coaches Cup tournament is the first time the girls have both been in this tournament and also won a game in this tournament. So history being made regardless of the outcome of this contest today. Looking for Dixon. Goes over her head. She'll chase it down, working one-on-one with Emily Stewart.
Really working hard to try to get the ball on the foot of Bridget Dixon, who is tied for the team leading goals with 7.
Well, we saw Bridget Dixon in that Williamstown game get the first goal against Williamstown, which was a great finish from Bridget Dixon.
Sent in by Sterling, and again, the defense, that back line of Eastern, very strong right now. Sterling really hasn't, other than that shot by Baker, has really had very few opportunities, as we're going to have a landing of a helicopter on the field. Shot high and right into the arms of Alex Clark, not distracted by the Coast Guard cutter going across the field.
And they were able to get the ball in the middle. Problem was Eastern had that area right in front of the net, heavily defended. You had 3 defenders right there. Making
Lily
sure
Burt.
they marked all the Sterling girls that were anywhere near there.
Nice pass up near side. Kicked right over the head of Alexis Hatfield from distance. And it's 2-0 Eastern. 18-11 remaining in the first.
Nothing that you could really do right there, just in a perfect spot right over Alexis Hatfield's head.
And that one had the wind behind it too, so don't think that might not have had an effect, how that sailed maybe a little bit further than Alexis Hatfield thought it was going to go. But in any event, just like that, Eastern holds a 2-0 lead here midway through the first half.
Goal is by number 27 for Eastern, not in our program. Try and find out and give credit to the goal scorer for Eastern. Was not on our sheet.
John Hallwood is
He's quick.
hustling.
He's quick today. He's getting a workout going up and down these stands. And by stands, I mean 10 rows deep. But hey,
It made him sound better.
yep. He's done it twice. So
right.
there's that. Now, for a football field, the football stands behind us are
Yeah.
really, really nice. This whole facility, you mentioned this on the way in, how nice it is.
Yeah, I think they obviously started off with turf on the football field and just kind of went from there.
We do not actually have her name on the sheet. It's actually number 8's sister, Isabella Benfield.
Isabella Benfield. So we'll credit Isabella Benfield with the goal.
And good hustle, but
Benfield.
Izzy Benfeld
Izzy
on the goal.
Benfield.
There we go. Thank you to the Eastern fans sitting to our right, helping out our broadcast, acting as statisticians and onlookers as well. So we appreciate that. So 2-0 Vikings. 16 minutes. Looks for a handball, and there it is. 16 minutes remaining here in the first half. Eastern leading 2-0. Goals by Kokolis and Benfeld.
Boy, that's a good foot right there.
Yeah, I was about to say the exact.
Wow.
You took the words right out of my mouth, and that's going to turn into Emerson. Emerson, one touch away, just happened to run into another number 7 in Kaylee Sheehan, who has been so solid defensively for Sterling all season long. And career long.
Oh, no doubt about it. I mean, I haven't seen many of the girls' games, been able to get to many girls' games this year, but I know watching her last year, just definitely a corner piece of this team on the back end since I believe she's started since her freshman year or thereabouts.
The game that I remember the most was her just absolutely exhausting performance against West Deptford in the playoffs last year. She was all over the field in a 1-0 loss, but she did pretty much everything for Sterling last year except for save the ball. And even then, in time, she may have been in the cage when Hatfield was out, and just had a tremendous performance last year in a losing effort.
Well, coming out here, and again, Sterling obviously, I think it's been a while since they've been in the coaches tournament. Never. Okay. Well, that's been a while. And just to go against, be thought of to be able to pick for this being picked for this tournament, and going against some of the bigger schools. Obviously, they've got a lot more numbers, and you just look behind you at the size of the school compared to Sterling. It's an honor just to be here.
Off the head of McVeigh.
Okay, yeah, I'm sure it's over.
It's got to be over 2,000.
2,000. And it's amazing. You look down the hallways, you almost can't see to the other end.
Berkeley to the far side. Over to McVeigh. Back to Berkeley. McVeigh looking for help. Finds it in Dixon. Sterling just cannot get any set possession here. Now they finally do, and McVeigh, some space, tries to cross off a defender right in front. Kay moving up. Tries to chip one ahead looking for Dixon. No dice there.
Yeah, they really haven't been able to get those forwards in front of the net. They're just so tough. It's like a wall in that back end. And I mean, Sterling's chance might be, in transition. But just a complete team, this Eastern team is. We talked about their control of the ball with sustained attack time. good at the midfield, good on the back end. They're always one of the top teams in South Jersey for a reason.
Benfeld looking across the middle. Who else is there but Sheehan? Sterling finally gets it out, and Eastern just all over every 50-50 ball right now, John, and just doing a great job.
They have been, and I think usually that's what we see from the even from the boys' game. The boys usually win those 50-50 balls, and I think that's what's really what this girl team needs to start winning now is those 50-50 balls to get more possession.
Palladino tries the service up ahead, just skips too far, and I think Sterling's still getting used to this turf field. But again, they've played on a turf field a couple times this season.
Well, Palladino had the right idea, got control, and just hit it ahead, hoping you're going to get a forward attacking the net. But when you get the ball, your window of opportunity is so slim because these defenders just close in on you, and you don't get a lot of time in the open field against this Eastern team.
Troilo into the game now, giving chase on that one for Sterling as they make some substitutions. Berkeley trying to track down that loose ball, but it's right in Vikings possession. Sheehan with some help defense there, able to get around a couple. Great job by Kaylee Sheehan. Now here she comes on the rush. Dynamic player for Sterling in her final season.
Yeah, just trying to make something happen. Getting the ball up there, and good job just taking control, taking advantage of an opportunity that she knew she had right there.
10:22 remaining here in the first, 2-0 Eastern. Goals from Kokolis and Benfeld. Berkeley to throw in from the far side. Off the head of McVeigh. McVeigh controlling. Looking ahead for Troilo. Troilo, nice run. Some speed down the far side. Still controlling is Troilo, looking for help, finds it. And Lily Burt, who was playing on this near side, is going to get a whistle, and it's going to be a foul against Sterling, and it'll be a free kick for the Vikings.
But a good initial job by Troilo on that far side. Kind of like a give and go. Unloaded the ball on the Sterling end, then right after that just went as fast as she could up that far side, got the ball back, and put a little pressure on that Eastern defense.
Cross coming on the way. Oh, blocked right out in front by Dixon. Dixon service ahead for McVeigh. McVeigh shielding Lily Burt. Palladino. Palladino again. Dispossessed. And the passing from Eastern is extremely crisp right now. No panic really at all out of this Vikings team. Troilo may have taken down an Eastern player there, no whistle. Don't know if the defender fell down or if Troilo got an arm in there. Nonetheless, it will be a Sterling throw with 8:15 remaining here in the first.
Well, again, good job by Troilo there, putting pressure on defense, forcing the ball out, and getting a restart here.
Some of our fans checking in here, making the about 10-15 minute drive from the Sterling sending district. Troilo in there. Berkeley deflected, and it will be a corner kick for Sterling. It's going to be their second. They're going to do it from that short side as Lexi Berkeley creates the corner kick for Sterling.
Sterling right now in the last minute or so has done a good job getting it past midfield, and more importantly, now give himself an opportunity with a corner kick.
goal right here would surely help out Sterling as that goes out.
Jordan Baker took that corner kick, and Solomon tracks it down. Sheehan, nice move. Loses possession. Now she's got to get back. Sterling has 3 defenders back. It's a 3-on-1, but here come the Vikings, and a giant wave of navy blue moves up the field. Benfeld chips it inside, looking in the middle, and it's deflected away by Sterling and cleared out by Palladino.
Very lucky right there not to have a Eastern player get a foot to that one. You do not want to play it in the middle of your box.
Kicked away by Faith Quinn, the junior. It'll be a Sterling throw.
And initially, good job by Sterling. Also, when they went in transition, like you alluded to, Rob, had 3 defenders back, kind of getting ahead of the play. And Eastern had a decent opportunity, but it wasn't a situation where they got around the edge and had forwards crashing the net.
Solomon, the recipient of the throw. They go back for Berkeley. Berkeley with the possession, turns and fires, and right into the defense of the Vikings. Headed forward by Sterling. Troilo trying to find it, and a weak shot by Palladino. Just kind of turned and fired from about 30 yards out, right into the hands of Alex Clark.
Right now, Sterling is just rushing everything. They're trying to force things to go through, but you still got plenty of time left in this. A little bit of time in the first half, and got another 40 minutes in the second.
Shot by Kokolis, easily handled by Hatfield. And they're going to look her way again.
Well, that's a good job, though, by Sterling, forcing them into a tough angle shot.
Shot by Silvestro, who leads the team in goals with 12. 12 and 8 for Silvestro, the senior, as we approach the 5-minute mark of this first half, 2-0 Eastern.
Man, this is an Eastern team that plays a pretty tough schedule. You know, when you talk about all the big schools, we were talking about football, some of the teams they play, but Eastern goes against some of the top big schools in South Jersey.
Sent ahead right into the hands of Hatfield. Mentioned that Sterling is 2 freshmen on the field, 3, if you count Troilo right now, who have been into the game. So the future is very, very promising for Sterling. Again, even if this result holds, Sterling still has the Group 2 champion, the Group 2 tournament to go through as well. So this is a kind of like icing on the cake here, not only to be invited to the tournament, but also to play in it as well.
A tremendous experience just for all the girls out there. And that, like we alluded to, this is a great game to get yourselves ready for the Group 2 tournament. I don't know that you're going to see a team of this caliber in that tournament.
Shot by Eustace, just bent wide of the far side post. So the sophomore gets into it and rips it just a tad wide. But that was a nice shot by Eustace.
And you can see that one that was curling in that back corner right into Sterling's net, but just goes out wide.
And not just put it on net. You could see that shot had a purpose. They were trying to get it to an area, but like you said, just kind of sailed a little bit.
Solomon.
Had a little wind behind it.
1-on-3. Here comes Troilo rushing through, and some help from Sterling. Here's Shea Wiley. Wiley from distance over the top of the bar. And the first real shot by Sterling right there goes over the cage and out of play.
Good thought there by Shea Wiley, trying for that upper right corner. And if you get, you get any type of an opportunity, I think you have to take it, because we talked about how these Eastern girls, whether it's at the midfield or deep in the Eastern end, are just going to close in on you very quickly once you get control of the ball.
Good flick near side for Eustace. Had that shot, and that was going to cross this one. It goes off the hand of Hatfield, who came off her line and may have saved a goal there. I don't know if she got a piece of it, guys.
Now, that was a great play by Hatfield because you had the Eastern forward attacking the net, and good job. You always talk about being a goaltender. You have to make those split-second decisions, and Hatfield definitely made the right one right there.
Disrupted the play and disrupted the cross, too.
Palladino back to Sheehan to back it up, and that ball is going to get caught up in the wind and go to that far side. Solomon climbs the ladder, and it goes into the Sterling bench out of play. It'll be an Eastern throw.
And even though you're looking at Sterling down 2-0, I don't sense that they're playing as back on their heels as they were in the first 8 to 10 minutes of this game. You know, you're seeing a decent job at midfield. You're seeing them put some offensive pressure, you know, getting some shots. Maybe they're not of the higher quality, not really inside the 18, but doing what they need to do to give themselves a chance here.
Solomon and Troilo giving chase. Nice move there by Aubrey Benfeld, the freshman, but Sterling still controls. Solomon looking ahead for Wiley. Couldn't connect with her there. And the quick transition offense of Eastern. Here comes Eustace. Eustace cross right in the middle. Was looking for Silvestro, who was wide open. Just missed her there, under a minute to play in the first.
Yeah, the thing that sticks out about Eustace is she was stopped and then turned and accelerated upfield in a hurry.
That's going to be a foul there. Easy call.
Like the top players can make a play like that.
It's foul on Dixon under just about 30 seconds by the time they get this kicked away. Plenty of time for Eastern here to set something up. Quick start, kick save, and a beauty by Hatfield, and then the rebound is sent wide over the cage.
Hatfield doing a good job coming up big in the last minute or so of this period to keep it, of this half, to keep it a 2-0 game.
Bookmark that save as well, because if that goes in, it makes it a 3-0 game pretty much at the halftime mark. 2 seconds, 1, and that will do it for the first half. 2-0 Eastern on goals by the freshman Katarina Kokolis and Izzy Benfeld just about 20 minutes into this first half. It's 2-0 Eastern. We're going to be back, take a quick short break, come back with second half coverage right here on Channel 19. Back after this. 2-0 Eastern as we enter the second half. Glad you joined us here on Channel 19. Rob Strauss, Kevin Schultz, John Hallwood, Tad Kozaneski behind the camera. And if you're just joining us, it was Eastern early in that first half. Katarina Kokolas, the freshman, with her 4th goal of the season. And then just about 10 minutes after that, Izzy Benfeld chimed in with her goal at around the 20-minute mark, Kevin. But, advantage Eastern here, I think, playing on this home turf.
No doubt about it, but like we kind of pointed out midway through that half, that the first 10 minutes were Sterling just kind of playing back on their heels and Eastern fully controlling the ball, but it seemed like you hit a point maybe, I guess midway through that half, but Sterling started to attack on their own and had a few not great opportunities, but decent opportunities going down the other end. And I think it's probably almost like you're adjusting within the game that you've got to play at another speed against this Eastern team.
And a little bit of an extra factor as the sun kind of comes out and all, and Alex Clark's going to be facing that sun. So it's going to be kind of interesting on how Sterling plays into that advantage to them.
Wind's still a factor, still coming in from our back across the field towards the scorer's table across from us. Just checking the radar, trying to see if there's anything in the area. Nothing yet. So that bodes well for, at least for our game, but looking out towards the west, I know it could be a damp evening for the boys who play at St. Augustine tonight. I believe that is a 6 o'clock start. So second half underway here from Eastern. See what kind of Sterling team comes out in the second half, especially early on. See how they respond to Coach K and some of his halftime notes that they made on the far corner flag. Silvestro, leading scorer. This Eastern team right now with the ball, working one-on-one.
Wow, real good foot skills. You could see just by that little sequence right there that she's a highly skilled player.
It's working one-on-one there with Shea Wiley. Eastern goes far side of the field now, looking to attack right in front of the Sterling bench. Something we talked about at halftime, Schulze, is the little panic at all from this Eastern team in that first half. Whenever Sterling had any sort of rush or contained possession, there was really no panic at all.
No, they know what they have to do, and they did. I think they just know how good they are at covering down low and really had a wall in front of that 18. And other than the corner kicks and a few stray shots, really didn't give up too much in that area.
Speaking of corner kicks, second corner kick of the afternoon coming for Eastern, kicking into the wind. A lot more room to run up and kick that ball on that far side than there is on the near side. Beautiful ball going inside and off the head of Izzy Benfeld. She was open. And will be a goal kick for Sterling.
And Eastern's had a couple corner kicks, but most of the time you're seeing Sterling so far defend them very well, having a lot of defenders in the middle.
Off the head of Francisconi. Ireland K looking ahead, trying to spring some sort of offense, but Vikings really all over the place right now. Emerson. Ahead for Benfeld, loses possession, backs it up, now sends it back in, and Hatfield has to come off of her line with Emerson lurking inside the 6.
And good job right there from Eastern to get an opportunity and to be able to get your player a decent shot at net.
Good job by Lily Burt sending up for Shea Wiley. She loses control, will be an Eastern throw. 36 2:50 remaining here in the second half.
Going back the other way, but a nice job by Burt, gaining control, getting the ball ahead to Wiley. But defensively, Eastern was equal to the task.
Wilsey, Burt, looking ahead, off the foot, now heading over for Shea Wiley. She cannot track it down, and it will be a corner for Sterling, their third of the afternoon. So Ireland K is going to take the corner.
And you had, I think it was Wiley going ahead, but a good job of Eastern. Again, we talked about them cutting off passing lanes in that first half. They do it again.
Comes a corner from Ireland K. Nice corner inside off the head. It looked like Kaylee Sheehan came in from the back. And a good job by Kaylee Sheehan. She sprints back to her defensive position. That's what she does. We saw that a lot last season. We've seen it this season as well. She can turn defense into offense.
And that's what we talk about, just taking advantage of those little opportunities. Remember, it's only a 2-0 lead by Eastern right now. If you can sneak one in, you've got yourself in position that you wanted to from a game plan standpoint, just to keep yourself within striking distance.
Next goal is going to be really big.
Absolutely.
And this is either, and we focused on that save by Hatfield at the very end of the first half, waning moments of that first half. Could have made it a 3-0 game. But Sterling gets one here. They cut the lead in half, get a little confidence going, Schulze. And this, this is really anybody's game.
And had a couple nice saves in that last minute. And that's what you want to do as a goaltender. Just find a way to keep your team close.
Thrown by Eastern on the far side. Giving chase there was Jordan Baker. And forces a Eastern turnover and a throw-in for Sterling. Up the field they go. It's one way to get up the field.
Sometimes it can be a slow crawl, but still gives you field position and a lot more opportunities to head upfield and get you a chance at goal.
Benfeld looking in the middle. Cross on the way. Kicked away by Wilsey. Eastern trying to corral it, and they will. Plenty of time here for Eastern. Barrett.
And you saw a block there, but what you saw prior to that was some diagonal looks, and we talked about it, the patience of waiting for the passing lanes to open up. And when you get that little window of opportunity, Sterling girls on the ball, pass to the open spot.
Emerson loses possession, but Wiley goes down. She's still down on the turf. Sophomore is injured, Tori Wilsey there. And I believe that they're going to stop the clock, and they will. 33-22. Or 19 technically on the clock, as Shea Wiley is going to need some attention. Coach K jogging across the field, as well as the training staff. He's going to take the cart. Easier mode of transportation.
Not quite sure exactly what had happened there to Shea Wiley.
She is up. Being tended to by the athletic training staff. I want to thank, while we have a minute, to thank the Eastern Athletic Director for setting us up, being very, very accommodating to us, and just doing a great job of setting us up here. They power through their concession stand. Stephen Peacoat, thank you so much for everything. Celebrating year number 17 here at Eastern High School. Was a coach here. Lacrosse, I believe, if I remember correctly, from our conversation as Shea Wiley gets up. That's good news for Sterling.
Absolutely.
So I took a look at the my own little replay system. Looked like she got hit on the play while kicking the ball. I can't quite tell which number it was, but while she was kicking it, her foot's still out. The player just ran into her.
Good work by you, John.
That's why we pay John the big bucks. Sheen will kick this one away. On the restart, Palladino. Near side for McVeigh. McVeigh, nice through ball for Lily Burt, and just a little too strong. Might have stopped on our field.
And they're trying to get the ball to Burt on the near side, and a couple times she was able to kind of spring loose, but I think Eastern is well aware of her ability to get upfield. Just closed in on her on a couple occasions.
Clock ticks down to around the 32-minute mark right now, unofficially. Eastern with an opportunity here, almost off the hand. And the crowd wanted it. I thought it was a handball. John, your thoughts?
Looking at that handball.
No whistle, so they play on.
John's got to go back to his video replay system.
Yep, that's exactly what he's doing right now. He's going to slow it down. Throw the red challenge flag, John.
Don't think they allow that in soccer.
Plenty of VAR in soccer, John.
That is true.
John has offered to look at any video surveillance at your home if there's been any break-ins on your street. John will come by free of charge to look at the surveillance, your surveillance video, your neighbors, anybody involved. John is going to donate his time. It's very nice of you, John. He was afraid to let that out there, so I did it for him.
Shameless plug for the Wiggles home protection system.
Wiggles home protection. Oh, man.
He has business cards if you're joining us. Just under 31 minutes remaining, still 2-0 Eastern here in the second round of the 2021 Coaches Cup Tournament. Glad you joined us here on Channel 19. Rob Strauss, Kevin Schulz, John Hallwood, and Tad Kozaneski doing a great job on the camera. We heard from Tad a little bit.
This game kind of has a back and forth feel to it right now. Not a lot of play in the midfield. Both teams moving the ball up in transition. Not getting it deep though. Both teams are tough on the back end, but there's a lot of back and forth play here. Last few minutes.
And actually, really, after further review of that, actually, I've gone to change my mind. That's kind of 50-50 still. Looking at it, arm still close to her body. It's pretty close to call. I think it hits her body and then she lifts up her arm.
And in the background, there was a break into a vehicle. John just figured he would let you know that. No, just kidding.
Wiggles protection. Know that you're safe by Wiggles.
There you go.
Oh my God.
What did I create? A monster.
What
here.
have you done?
What have I done?
It's going to be the next TV Production 1 commercial. We're going to get rid of the Sterling Water commercial and go with the Wiggles home protection. Only people that are at Sterling who have taken Video 1 would understand the Sterling Water commercial.
Yep.
That's right. A legend in and of itself.
It is.
I think that video of my water commercial is still saved somewhere in that. by
Sure, Mr.
Farr.
K has it somewhere. It's in the archives. It is. If it's happened at Sterling, it's been archived. Back to soccer action. Good ball going across from Emerson. Emerson sends it in, looking at the far side. I think I kind of got held up in the wind there, and Hatfield corrals it and will boot it away. Palladino has McVeigh near side. McVeigh with space and time elects to go back to Ireland K. Palladino now double teamed. Good spin move by Palladino. Creates some space and takes a shot from distance, and
Why
a
not?
leaping save from Alex Clark. She was trying to get a little bit more height underneath that. It was going top corner. That would have been a heck of a shot from Palladino if that went in.
But a good job sensing you probably weren't going to get it deeper on that Eastern defense, and hey, just fire away.
Hatfield comes off of her line as Cherkis, the sophomore, streaks in on that far side and tries to make a run at it. Again, still 2-0, 27-35 remaining here in the second half.
And Alexis Hatfield's been doing a great job, and we mentioned that first half save right there from the free kick spot and all. This game could have really been 4, maybe even 5-0, but Alexis Hatfield only landing in 2.
I agree, John.
98 saves on the season coming into this contest, in her 18th game of the season for Alexis Hatfield. Sterling entering this game 15-3 overall, 12-2 in the conference. Eastern, their only loss of the season on a 16-1-1 mark is to Cherokee, 2-1. You look at that American division. Eastern, Shawnee, Cherokee, Washington Township, Lenape, and Cherry Hill East in that order. So some really, really tough competition there, Schulze.
And all big schools. You know, we mentioned Eastern. We were just kind of figuring what the enrollment is. They're all schools with over 2,000 in enrollment. So, you know, it's a numbers game. You have a lot to pick from. And year in and year out there, that's why they're some of the top teams in South Jersey.
Eastern girls soccer, 14-time Olympic Conference champions, 4-time coaches tournament champs, and 3-time state champs in 05, 06, and 18. We won't get into how many field hockey championships they have. We don't have enough broadcast.
No.
But just remember that they have probably all of them.
I'm guessing they're #1 in the state, if they're that good.
For a while, yeah, they would just win state championships year after year, and I know for a time they were #1 in the country. Not sure how long they held that, but I know at one point they definitely were.
Troilo trying to give this one a run, but good defense.
Big
And
mistake right here from Eastern. That could have been a big opportunity right there for Sterling.
credit to Speed of Troilo making that almost turnover happen there.
Yeah, we saw Troilo do that in the first half, came in right away, had an impact, and just kind of putting relentless pressure on the defense there.
Only a freshman, Troilo. Getting some playing time here in this Coaches Cup. She has all season. Goal and assist to her credit this season. Again, one of several freshmen on this team, as a misplay there by Solomon looking for Kate McVeigh. Whistle and a substitution. I heard the official say something about something being an inadvertent. Might have been an inadvertent whistle there, guys.
Substitution being made. The far ref made the flow of the whistle, letting the near ref knowing that there's a substitution being played, and they threw it in.
Shot across from Brancaccio. Looking almost connected there. Next goal, guys, is big.
Yeah, and Sterling's been pretty good at defending the middle, but that one, boy, it just kind of went by everybody. And fortunately for Sterling, there wasn't an Eastern forward there to cash in.
Back line, they have 3 deep standing at midfield to the Eastern Vikings. And the attack from Sterling has been sporadic at best. They're quick to throw it in here. Looking for space, intercepted by McVeigh. McVeigh double team, she goes down. And that goes off of Wilsey. Nope, they're going to say it's Sterling ball.
Yeah, Rob, I think you hit the nail on the head when you're saying in the second half there's been just sporadic pressure. I felt like the best pressure they had when you're talking about Sterling was the latter part of that first half.
McVeigh. Troilo calling for the ball, runs into a player. Now Solomon controls, one-on-one. Solomon tries to make a move. She falls down. McVeigh, left foot on it. Palladino looking for Troilo, and here comes Alex Clark to scoop it up. Dixon steps on the ball, turns it over, going near side, looking for Kokolas, who right now has the game winner over the head of Alexis Hatfield, and Eastern gets their 3rd goal, and it's 3-0, 22-14 left here in the second.
Boy, what an outstanding job there by Eastern, getting the ball to that far post. That was number 18 for Eastern.
That's Carly Schulman.
And boy, she was. Yeah, I think Sterling obviously was trying to cover the middle area, and she was not even at the post, kind of away from it. That was just an outstanding play. The one time, the head ball into the net to get that 3rd goal for the Vikings.
So Schulman gets her 9th at about the 22-minute mark of this second half. And that's a big insurance tally for the Vikings.
Nice move there. Gets a lot of howls and hoots from the hometown crowd here.
Looking in the middle again. Brancaccio. Spin move. Shyam. McVeigh intercepts. Eastern still controls. Back it up to the defense, and Stewart. All the way back. Faith Quinn. Not to be confused with Aaron Quinn, who plays for Sterling. I don't think they are related. Eastern looking for more. Good step there by Kaylee Sheehan. Sends it up to Troilo.
And guys, I'll go back to what we said about Eastern. Just every pass, every thing they put on net has a purpose. Very rarely do they just kind of wheel away and throw something on the net. And I think when you look at that last goal, it wasn't just thrown in the middle. A lot of times I think you try to do that hoping some forwards are crashing the net, but they knew that they had somebody just outside of that far post, and it was put in the exact right spot to extend that lead to 3-0.
Shyam looking for someone to pass to, finally connects with Silvestro. Silvestro, low line drive cross, blocked away by Sheehan and cleared away by Sterling. Solomon looking to break. Looks ahead for Troilo, back to Solomon. Another nice move on Solomon. Gets another rise out of the crowd, and it's kicked towards the Sterling bench. Does it stay in? It does, momentarily anyway. Middle of the field, Berkeley. Berkeley with some space. Turns and fires, now corrals her own pass. That pinballed away from Eastern. Under halfway through this second half, 3-0 Eastern, the most recent goal by Carly Schulman, her 9th of the season. Again, good luck to the boys as they will play St. Augustine tonight at 6 o'clock.
Just under an hour now. It says it's 5:05.
Our timekeeper over there. John Hall just does it all.
Corner coming across, headed away by Sheehan. That was the third corner kick of the afternoon for Eastern. Troilo trying to do it all herself there. 3 head balls in a row.
Very impressive.
Still chasing it down, has it deflected away, but there are 3 navy blue shirts and a goalie back, and that's not favorable numbers for Sterling and Troilo. Good hustle by Solomon, tries to keep it in play. She cannot, goes off of her foot out of bounds, and quickly on the restart is Eastern. Palladino back to Berkeley. Dixon. Picked off by McVeigh, back to Dixon, now back to McVeigh. They play catch. Berkeley tries to send it to the near side. She had an open Palladino. But this Eastern defense is absolutely suffocating.
Yeah, you don't get much room. You don't, and if you do get an area where there's space, boy, it closes in a hurry. And you definitely have to speed up your decision making, which ultimately we go back to saying that this is a good experience facing this team, because when you speed things up a little bit, it just gets you ready for what you have coming up in another week or so. And with that being said, I don't think you're going to see a team. You'll see some good teams, but not obviously of the caliber of this Eastern team.
Be interesting to see how far Eastern goes in the Group 4 tournament. With a 16-1-1 record en route to a 17-1-1 record, if this result holds. We'd have to think they'd be a top seed in Group 4.
No doubt. So now you're facing a Group 4 team, but one of the better Group 4 teams.
Some of the cloud cover starting to roll in now with the approaching weather that we have been alluding to.
Yeah, they just mentioned that later on tonight, the governor issued a state of emergency for New Jersey.
I actually did not know that.
You heard it here first. Hurricane Schulz on the
I
broadcast
won up
today.
John Hallwood for the first time.
Nice.
Ever. I was waiting to get that in before John did.
Between the timing of John and the weather updates from Schulz, I don't know. Good through ball here for Eastern. If they can track it down, still inside the 6. Hatfield off of her line to make the nice save, and is cleared away by Sterling.
And just a great instinct from Hatfield right there, just to come out, able to not let Eastern score, and still keeps this game at 3-0. It's just like we said again, it's just unbelievable what Hatfield's able to do.
See some of that approaching cloud cover that Dr. Schulz was alluding to. It's on the way. I think anything tomorrow is going to be a washout if you're outdoors. Get your bonfires in tonight, if you can. Get them done early.
Nice little play there by Lily Burt, going full speed and then just stopping on a dime, going the other way. There's a lot of obviously skilled players on this Eastern side, but Sterling, with one of their best teams in a long time, has some skilled players of their own.
I'm sure Coach K will say that he's really, really proud of this squad this season, going to the coaches tournament for the very first time in school history. I'm sure he'd love to add a Group 2 title to that resume as well.
In this tournament, obviously, is usually dominated, as we said, by the bigger schools. I remember a couple years ago, it was one of the smaller schools. I won't say which one it was, but we talked to the coach, and they got in a tournament for the first time in a while, and he said they played against an Eastern team. That's when Eastern had one of the better teams that they've had in a while. And he said his team probably had like maybe 2 girls that could have played on that Eastern team. The team was just so loaded. Yeah, you look at the brackets with what's left, and they're mostly the bigger schools. I mean, you've got Ocean City, Clearview, Millville, Rancocas Valley. Eustis, obviously a Catholic school, but Shawnee.
Shawnee's always a big soccer school.
Wilsey clears it away, looking near side. Trying to find Shea Wiley, who was injured earlier. Good to see her back up and on the pitch. Sterling just cannot get any sort of possession going at all. A lot of the shots that they've had, Schulze, have been just kind of turning fire.
Because you have such a limited amount of time to make a decision. I mean, with this Eastern team just closing in on you.
Eastern now looking for more. Goes off of Kaylee Sheehan with some space and time. She'll clear it away to the far side. Sterling moves up. Pressure on the way, and again, picked off by Eastern.
And I think when you go up a level, I know, you're obviously, you have a team that has quickness, but when you say the speed of the game picks up, I think it's, and you again, you have girls with quickness, but I think it's even more so the speed with which the ball is moving around and how quickly it gets to a spot and how directed it is getting to that exact spot. And you're definitely seeing a lot of that with this Eastern team.
Wiley lets that one go out of play. She didn't have the angle anyway on that, and it will be an Eastern throw. They're going to make a goalie substitution as Alex Clark checks out of the game, and they're going to bring in Ava Clark, the junior. So Alex, clean sheet for Alex Clark tonight as she exits the game with just about 11 minutes remaining. Eastern in command on this one, 3-0. Goals by Kokeles, Benfeld, and Schulman.
Sterling gets an opportunity. Why not test out the new goalie? Take a shot from way out, see what she can do.
That is if they can get in that controlling half. That's been the problem for Sterling all night.
Very true.
They haven't had any real set opportunities. And that's not a slight on Sterling. That's just more of a credit to Eastern more than anything else.
Yeah, Sterling has scored 54 goals this season as there is a foul against Sterling.
Fouls on Aaron Quinn.
And one of the better finishing teams they've had in a while. I know they ran into issues in the past few years where they would outplay teams, get the ball deep, but not be able to finish and end up either tying or losing games where, they have more attack time. But it definitely helps to have those finishers, no question about it. John, you alluded to 54 goals.
A lot more scoring out of the Sterling team than last season. Last season was all about defense, and then it got hot at the right time in the Group 2 tournament. It made it all the way to the semifinals where they lost 1-0 to West Deptford. But Sterling's problem was scoring for sure last season, and it looks like they've obviously addressed that this year.
And it's coming from a lot of the underclassmen. You got the freshman of Lily Burt. You got the likes of a junior of Solomon, who has 7 goals, and Bridget Dixon also with 7 goals too.
Well,
So-
even when they won in 2014, obviously, they didn't win the conference. This is the first year they've ever won the conference. And I'm not sure what they finished in the conference, but just got hot at the right time. 4th, they finished the conference. Mr. Case helped me out there. Thank you. But what you did have was a team that got hot, but also Lauren McCann, I believe, had, 14 goals that year, and she was your finisher that could play midfield, could play up. When you needed a goal, you put her in there, and things would happen, or you move her up.
And
At that point, she was only a freshman.
And they were a 7 seed going into that tournament, I believe, and they won their first game in overtime.
Was that at
against
West
the 10
Deptford?
seed. No, was that we were hosting that game,
Okay.
and then every game from there on out was cold. Trust me.
Yeah. Well, I remember the championship game up at, was it Point Pleasant?
Point Pleasant Borough.
Borough. We were freezing. That was a cold one.
Which one was colder, that or the Homedale game at St. Augustine? Or Augustine, excuse me. I would say
Wow.
that's a tough one.
I just remember the Point Pleasant game as being real cold.
Who did camera for that game? Because whoever did was on the roof. That was Mr. K? Yeah.
Poor Mr. K.
Sorry, Mr. K. The booth was really cold, too. Trust me.
I was waiting for you to say nice and toasty to rub it in Mr. K's face or something.
Nothing better than have a good booth on a cold day.
I think they had free coffee, too, in there, didn't they? Some hot cocoa, maybe?
And then when they delivered the Chick-fil-A.
Oh, that was
yeah,
hands out. Credit to
had
Point
do
Pleasant
that
Borough.
As I filled up the pocket.
Anybody eating this? .6:30 remaining here in the second half. Eastern in full control here, up 3-0 in the quarterfinal round of the Coaches Tournament. Glad you joined us here on Channel 19. Whether you're a Sterling fan or Eastern fan, glad you joined us. Rob Strauss, Kevin Schulz, John Hallwood, and Tad Kozaneski behind the camera.
The thing I remember about a booth and food
Oof.
was
there we
when
go.
we were
Love this.
doing the River Sharks
Yep.
game, and there was a kids party, but the kids weren't eating any of the food. It was like right next to us. And we were just looking at the food the whole time. We were in a box. It was the box next to us.
I think we were drooling too, weren't we?
And they were finishing up, and the guy said, "Is anybody want any of this extra food?" And I think we had 4 or 5 kids that flew over the railing, and I think might have even dove on the food.
Chicken fingers aplenty
Yeah.
for us. Popcorn, a little bit of everything. Out of play on that far side. Throw in with 5:30 remaining here in the second.
No, I remember going to a River Sharks game my 4th grade for a middle school trip.
We were probably there. If it was an afternoon game, we were probably there.
I believe it was, and I can't.
It was
You
11,
were in that booth
if it was an
next to
11
us. Thanks
o'clock.
for not, you
Yeah.
and your
I know
friends,
we were-
thank you for not eating the food.
No. We weren't in the booth. We were actually in the actual stadium part. We weren't that school to get that fancy.
That was fun. It's a shame that
Yeah, that was a
not-
great opportunity
that's not
for
around anymore.
great opportunity for the students to broadcast a real baseball game. Opportunity here, speaking of which, and a tough collision there. Alexis Hatfield still competing down 3-0 and slides in to make the save, and the official is going to talk to Kaylee Sheehan. It'll be a Sterling free kick.
Well, that's the second time we've seen Hatfield be aggressive and coming out and doing what she had to do, because that forward was loose, and you would have had a one-time shot that would have been difficult to save right there. So, again, real good decision-making by Alexis Hatfield.
And I think barring a miracle right now, Sterling's running this coaches tournament is going to end. And this is an incredible Eastern team here. And it's going to be interesting to see which team, if any, is going to beat this team. This is one of the most complete teams we've seen all season.
No question. It's definitely, you know, when you look at a team that's a force in Group 4, that tells you all you need to know. And with this tradition, too.
Hatfield lets that go out of play under 3.5 remaining here in the second half. Sterling going to make a handful of substitutions.
Letting their JV players come into the game.
Rachel McCann into the game, as well as that's Mackenzie McDonald into the game
Mackenzie
now.
McDonald in there. That's right.
Yeah.
Our expert analyst in football.
Correct. Under 3 to play in this one. Again, our next broadcast, if the boys win, will be Wednesday, and we'll have information for you on Twitter. You can follow at Sterling TV19. Pay attention to the Sterling High School website, and that's only if the boys win against St. Augustine tonight. Field hockey is done. Their season is complete. No more broadcast of that. Football is this Saturday morning, 11 o'clock at Paulsboro, coming off of a tough double overtime loss at Willingboro last week, filled of penalties and not exactly the cleanest game we've ever broadcasted. And Sterling had their opportunities, but could not come away with the win. They are now 5-3 on the season.
But definitely a team that's battled, you know, through injuries and playing some tough opponents. Took things right down to the end. You can't get more right down to the end than, you know, ending in an overtime situation.
One of the crazier games that we've seen, Kevin, not as crazy as that Penn State game this past weekend. 9 overtimes. We only had 2 overtimes.
Right.
We went the JV route. Penn State goes 9 overtimes and comes up short against Illinois.
Yeah, I believe I was actually watching that. Was either watching that game or I was watching. I can't remember the other one that was playing. I was watching the one on CBS.
McVeigh on the far side, trying to get Sterling on the score sheet with 1:15 remaining here in the second half. They're going to throw in deep. Aaron Carroll with the throw in. And right there again is the defense of Eastern, not even giving Sterling a sniff in the last 60 seconds.
You want to keep that clean sheet.
High ball in on the keeper, Ava Clark. It's her first test since being substituted for Alex Clark just about 10-15 minutes ago, and we are under 40 to play.
All in all, a good effort coming in here by this Sterling team. You're just going against the better team here. There's no other way to put it. But they played them hard, and again are going to benefit from the experience of playing a team of this caliber.
Whistle and a foul as
That's likely going to be the last kick of the game.
3 seconds, 2 and 1, and the buzzer's going to sound, and the Eastern Vikings are going to advance to the semifinal round of the South Jersey Coaches Association tournament here in 2021. Sterling, a gritty effort, ran into a real tough Eastern team here, Schulze.
Yeah, Eastern just came in as expected. You know, everything you've been hearing about it, they lived up to it, no question about it. And I think when you look at them, the word complete comes to mind, and we use that word a lot today, and I think that's fitting. You know, that's what they bring to the table. They're tough on the back end. They win the free ball battle. They don't give you much space. They pass, and obviously they have the ability to finish.
So Eastern wins this one 3-0. Katarina Kokolis credited with the game-winning goal, her 4th of the season. Izzy Benfeld chimes in just a few moments later, and then Carly Schulman puts the icing on the cake with her 9th tally of the season. 3-0 is your final. For John Hallwood, Kevin Schulz, Tad Kozaneski behind the camera, I'm Rob Strauss. We'll see you next time right here on Channel 19. Good night.